When I was 16 years old, my mom really encouraged me to get a job, not necessarily because we needed the money, although that didn't hurt as well, but really because she wanted me to learn the skills that I would need to one day take care of myself, my family, and potentially even my community. So in today's video, I thought it would be fun to do some self-reflection by outlining the 8 different jobs I had before becoming a doctor, how much they paid me, and one life lesson that I learned from each experience that I think still holds true today. If you're watching this in high school or university, I hope this video is valuable to you in some way, whether that be serving as motivation for your own career journey, your own path potentially to medicine or another healthcare career, or even just serving as some light entertainment. Either way, do hit that subscribe button and the like button down below. It really means a lot to me in terms of helping me continue to put out these videos that help you either get into med school or just explore what a career in medicine would look like for you. The first job that I ever had was manual labor. Now, this is actually more just a category of different jobs I had because as a 16-year-old kid with very few skills and experiences, there weren't many entry-level positions that I even qualified for. And so I actually found myself on Kijiji looking for basically anyone that was willing to hire a 16-year-old kid. So I did things like shovel gravel off a roof, hold ladders for window washers, and I even joined a carpenter one day ripping up carpets in one of their clients' home. I usually got paid minimum wage, which at the time was around $11 an hour, but I actually didn't have a whole lot of complaints because I knew that as essentially a child or a teenager with very few skills, that I was fortunate enough that anyone was willing to take a chance on me and willing to have me as a part of their business to help out in whatever way I possibly could. Most of these jobs, once again, didn't last very long because they would soon realize that even for the most basic of manual labor jobs, I was probably not their best candidate, but you know, I did gain some valuable experience through these roles. So I would say the first life lesson that I gained from my time as a general laborer was to work hard. Now, you may be watching this and you may be interested in medicine, but are you willing to put in the work that it takes to get a really good GPA, to study for the MCAT, to apply to medical school? All of these various aspects that, well, in some way or another require some hard work. That's basically the takeaway that I think applied to my life from this very simple job, but certainly one that I think is broadly applicable, A, if you are interested in becoming a doctor, but B, just to life in general, and that is, you know, the rewards that come from putting in a good day's work. The second job I ever had was being a landscaper. Now, this only lasted a few days because I found out on about day 3 that I was allergic to grass. So in some ways, I was kind of ready to find something that I was better suited for, and my boss was probably also not happy about the fact that I was essentially sneezing all day. But you know, I think that the life lesson that I took away from this experience was really just to play to your strengths. So you may be interested in becoming a doctor, you may be interested in a career in medicine, but I have a question for you. Do you like to learn? Do you enjoy school? Because being a doctor involves a lifetime or a career of learning. The rate at which medical information is being produced is ever so rapid in 2024, especially compared to the pre-internet days. So are you prepared to continuously learn and grow and keep up with the evolving scientific literature that a career in medicine would demand of you? If you are you suited for the profession in other ways? Or maybe are there other strengths you have that may be more suited to other professions that you could do equally well at, if not even better? The third job I had before becoming a doctor was being a dishwasher. And from this experience, I think I learned that it's important sometimes to just not complain. So yes, it was really, kind of not fun. It wasn't a great job. You were often wet and, hot and sweaty, and you're kind of at the bottom of the food chain in the restaurant environment. There's, your servers and line cooks and, the managers and all these other people that have more say in the day-to-day operations of the business as compared to you as a dishwasher. But really, I think because I had a good attitude about the job, because I didn't complain about the conditions or the environment, this actually leads me into my fourth job, in that I was actually quite quickly promoted from a dishwasher to a line cook. And that, of course, is my fourth job before becoming a doctor. As a line cook, I started to gain more confidence in myself because I was no longer at the bottom of the totem pole. I no longer had to wash everybody's dishes, and I was in a role where I felt a little bit more important. I could be a bit more creative and do work that I found genuinely more enjoyable and more fun and more relaxing even. But the lesson that I really took home from being a line cook was to stay humble. And that's because my manager approached me one day and he said, "Hey, listen, you're not kind of meeting the orders in the time frame that we need you to meet them by. The customers are waiting for their food a little bit too long and they're starting to say stuff to our servers. So, if you don't start to pick up the pace, then we're basically gonna put you back to being a dishwasher." And that really humbled me, because I realized that just because I had achieved something, I had gotten a promotion at my first real job, it doesn't mean that I could necessarily let my foot off the gas. I still needed to stay humble and put in that same work to hold myself to the same standard that I did when I was a dishwasher, despite having been promoted to a more enjoyable role in the organization. Once again, everyone, if you are enjoying this content, do hit that like and subscribe button down below. It's completely free, costs you guys nothing, and really helps support this channel in terms of helping me to continue to put out content that is geared towards helping you get into medical school. Now, after being a dishwasher and a line cook in the summer between grade 11 and grade 12, I actually quit my job as a line cook at the start of grade 12 because I really wanted to play high school volleyball. So there was a little bit of a break in my part-time job career between the start of grade 12 and the second semester of grade 12. But after that, my fifth job ever before becoming a doctor was actually being a sales representative at Abercrombie & Fitch. Now, this is the job that I had on a seasonal basis, basically throughout my entire undergraduate degree. I would go back for summers, March break, Christmas break, essentially anytime there was a long weekend. And so the amount I got paid spanned between $11 and $14 an hour, just because during that period of time there were some changes to the Ontario minimum wage. But the lesson that I would say I really took away from my time at Abercrombie & Fitch was to just continue making new friends. The only reason that I was actually able to get into Abercrombie & Fitch as a sales representative was through one of my friends, actually. She happened to be a sales representative at the time and got along really well with the manager. And when I told her that I was looking for a part-time job, she was actually quick to recommend my name based on the fact that she thought that I got along well with people and could see me doing well in the role. So you really never know where the next pivot or the next career opportunity is going to come from. And oftentimes it's that old adage that it's not what you know, it's who you know. So I would say, this certainly applies as you get further along in your career, especially if you're interested in becoming a doctor. But do maintain a good circle of friends, of professional connections, because you never know where that next career opportunity is going to come from. The sixth job I had before becoming a doctor was being a camp counselor. Now, I was a camp counselor for a kind of unique camp. It was targeted to international students who were interested in careers in either medicine or law at the University of Toronto. Some of you may be familiar with this program. It's called the U of T Med/Law Youth Summer Program. And really, the takeaway that I gained from working in this experience was simply just to give back. The only reason that I even qualified for this type of a role was because I had some prior experience volunteering at a summer camp that was targeted towards low-income families in the Greater Toronto area. So that's not to say that when you give back or when you serve or when you volunteer, you should do so with these ulterior motives in mind. But certainly giving back and expanding your network and skills in that way can also potentially open doors and opportunities to you that would not have been available if you had chosen to spend your time in other ways. The following summer, I was invited back once again to be a camp counselor at the Toronto Medicine and Law Youth Summer Program, but I actually changed paths at that point in time because I had finally been able to secure a research position at one of the labs through Western University. And even though it was lower pay, I think they were paying me $12 an hour or minimum wage compared to the $15 that I was getting as a camp counselor, I decided to take the research opportunity instead. And the main takeaway that I've learned from that experience is that money isn't everything. If we're thinking about potential career growth and you may be interested in getting into medical school if you're watching this video, sometimes it's actually worth it in the short term to pick a lower paying job that may give you the skills or experience you need to be more competitive at a later stage in your career. Although I probably would have had a little bit more fun and definitely got paid a little bit more money being a camp counselor, in addition to having the opportunity to work with a team that I really enjoyed working with because I knew them from the previous summer, I knew that at that point in my career, it was time for me to get some real research experience. And so I was willing to make a temporary sacrifice for my long-term career prospects by choosing research over being a camp counselor that specific summer. And finally, in the summer before I got into medical school, I actually changed labs. So although I had been working in a biochemistry lab at Western the previous summer and in the year leading up to the summer before med school, I applied for the SickKids Summer Undergraduate Research Experience, and on the recommendation of the professor that I was working for the previous summer, I actually was fortunate enough to get in. Now, I think the main takeaway that I got from this experience, there are so many, but if I were to name one, it would just be that reputation matters. Now, for those of you that may be more familiar with some of the more intricate details of my pathway to medical school, which I'll outline in sort of one of the cards or one of the end screen videos, you'll know that after my third year, I did not plan to go straight back to complete my honors thesis. I wanted to spend a year working where I could just focus on, working and not have to worry about grades or anything like that. And what I found really interesting was the fact that when I was applying for internships before having this position at SickKids, I didn't hear back from a lot of these companies, but after getting this research position at SickKids Hospital, I had that on my resume and I was applying to basically the same jobs that I had applied to before without that line on my resume. And I actually started hearing back from a bunch of jobs that didn't even sort of want to contact me. And I just found that strange because I was by and large the same person with the same sets of skills. I was using mostly the same cover letters and resumes. There was only one line of difference, and that was the fact that SickKids Hospital was at the top of my resume. When you're making career decisions for either medical school or residency or really anything else, it's really important to consider the reputation of the institution that you're considering being a part of. Obviously, the more well-known they are, the more that could potentially be of benefit to your future career prospects. But you also have to realize that those perks may also come with other sacrifices that are important to weigh when making these very important decisions. My bonus reflection comes from my current job as a resident doctor. And if you've seen my other videos, you may have heard me talking about the fact that there are long nights, sleepless nights, that there's a lot of debt that we have to take on to even get to this position. But when I really take a step back and think about everything that I've had to do to get to this point, as well as what my day-to-day job actually requires of me, I realize that, you know what, sometimes I do need to be more grateful for the position that I'm currently in, because at the end of the day, I get to go to work on a good day. You do make meaningful differences in other people's lives. You do work that's intellectually stimulating and enjoyable. And, you know, we have reasonable job security here in Canada. So there's really a lot to gain, or a lot to be had from a career in medicine. And if you're considering that, you know, I wouldn't just write it off because of all the sacrifices you'd have to make, because with those sacrifices come immense benefits and immense career satisfaction. That is something that I think is really difficult to find, this unique combination of satisfying variables in any other career. So I personally have no regrets about my chosen career path, and I hope that if you're watching this video, this helps you get one step closer to making your decision about whether or not you want to pursue medicine, or if you are interested in pursuing medicine, that helps you get closer to, you know, wherever your next goal may be. Thanks again for watching the video, guys. If you'd like to see one of my other videos, I'll link a relevant one at the end screen of this one for you guys to check out at your own convenience.